Dear cadets, a very good morning to you all. How are you? I hope all of you are fine at your sweet home with your near and dear ones. Dear all, due to corona pandemic around the whole world, you couldn't be able to come to your alma mater. And so, we are taking your online class. Today, this is my second class with you. In the previous class, we discussed about preposition and how to use preposition in different parts of a sentence. Today, I'll be discussing about narration. Dear all, before starting our topic, I'd like to tell the learning outcome. That is, what will you be able to learn after this lesson? Yes, dear cadets. At first, you'll be able to grasp new vocabularies. Then, you'll know the definition of direct and indirect speech. And finally, you'll be able to understand the proper ways of changing direct speech into indirect one. Dear cadets, now let's start our topic. Narration. Yes. First, you need to know the definition of narration. The way of reporting the speech of a speaker is called narration. And there are two types of narration. They are direct speech and indirect speech. Cadets, sometimes indirect speech is also called reported speech. Now, let's come to clarify direct speech. Before going to clarification, we need to know the definition of direct speech. Yes, direct speech is the exact speech said by the speaker which is put within quotation marks. As for example, if you say, he said to his friend, I like sweets very much. Here, I like sweets very much, which is put inside the inverted comma, is the direct speech said by he. Okay, in direct speech, we can find two parts. First, reporting speech, and second, reported speech. Now, we need to know what reporting speech and reported speech are. At first, let's see reporting speech. It is a part which is outside the inverted commas, that is, the part before the comma. And it involves two parts, the reporter and to whom he or she is reporting. Dear cadets, let's go to our previous slide in order to be clear about reporting speech. See, in the sentence, he said to his friend. Here, you can find two parts. First, he, and the second part is his friend. That is, he is the person who is addressing his friend. Next, reported speech. Yes, reported speech is a part which is within the inverted commas. Dear all, let's again go backward. Here you see inside the inverted comma, I like sweets very much. This is the reported speech. Now, let's know about indirect speech. At first, we need to know the definition. Yes, dear cadets. Indirect speech is also known as reported speech, and it is the substance of the speaker's speech given by someone else. As for example, he told his friend that he liked sweets very much. Dear all, in our last example, we have seen he said to his friend, I like sweets very much. This is the direct speech, and in indirect speech, we find he told his friend that he liked sweets very much. Okay, step by step, we'll be able to know how this has been turned into indirect form. First, let's see different criteria of indirect speech or reported speech. At first, no inverted commas are used, that you have already observed. Reporting speech and reported speech are joined with each other by conjunctions like that, if, or whether, etc. Here you see a conjunction that has been used. Next, reporting speech and reported speech have no comma in between. Dear cadets, you see there is no comma in between reporting speech and reported speech. Then the tense of reporting speech is the same as before. Dear all, this is the most crucial point that you need to lock inside your brain, that you can never change the tense of the sentence. That is, the tense which is found in the direct speech must remain constant in the indirect speech too. Okay? And for this very reason, we see that he told his friend that he liked sweets very much. Though in the indirect speech, we have seen that inside the inverted comma, there was I like sweets very much. But here we find he liked sweets very much because it was in the past tense. Next, interrogative, exclamatory, optative, and imperative sentences are converted to the assertive sentence. Dear all, other than assertive sentence, indirect speech cannot carry or cannot contain any other sentence. Dear cadets, next, reporting verb is changed according to the reported speech. In the above example, told is a reporting verb and liked is a reported verb. Different reporting verbs are used on the basis of the type of sentence, such as asked, offered, promised, etc. As for example, if the direct speech is seen in interrogative sentence, then you can use asked. And offered, promised, these also vary according to their demand. Next, the pronoun of reported speech is changed according to a rule called SON, where S means subject, O means object, and N means no change. According to this rule, The first person is changed to the subject of reporting verb. The second person is changed to the object of reporting verb. And in case of the third person, there is no change. Dear all, now let's see the rules of changing narration here. During changing direct speech into indirect speech, if the reporting verb is in the present or future tense, there is no change in the tense of the verb in the reported speech. Dear all, let's see the example and you will be clear. See, he says, you love music. Here, the reporting verb says. It indicates that it is in the present form. So, as it is in the present form, so there will be no change in the tense of the reported speech. So here, the indirect speech, you see, he says that you love music. Now, the next rule. When reporting verb is in the past tense, the reported speech's verb is changed to one or the other of the four forms of past tense. First, present indefinite tense is changed into past indefinite tense. As for example, see, he said to me, she goes to school every day. Dear cadets, if this sentence is in the direct speech, in order to turn it into indirect speech, we need to make it, he told me that she went to school every day. Okay. Here you see the rule. That is, present indefinite tense goes. This verb indicates the tense. So goes has been transformed into went. So the present indefinite tense has been changed into past indefinite tense. Next, present continuous tense is changed into past continuous tense. That is, am, is, or are plus simple form of verb plus ing to was or were plus simple form of verb plus ing. Okay, see the example. He said to me, she is going to school. Direct speech. He told me that she was going to school. It is indirect speech. Next, he said to me, is she going to school? The indirect speech will be, he asked me if she was going to school. Dear cadets, see, as the sentence is in interrogative form, we have used here asked in the place of said to, and we have changed the interrogative sentence into an assertive sentence in order to make it an indirect one. Next, present perfect tense is changed into past perfect tense. That is, has or have plus past participle form of verb to had plus past participle form of verb. See, dear cadets, he said to me, she has gone to school. Now, the indirect speech will be, he told me that she had gone to school. Next, Present perfect continuous tense is transformed to past perfect continuous tense. That is, has or have been plus simple form of verb plus ing to had been plus simple form of verb plus ing. As for example, see, he said to me, she has been studying for 5 hours. So if this is the direct speech, the indirect speech will be, he told me that she had been studying for 5 hours. Next, past indefinite tense is changed into past perfect tense. Be careful, dear cadets. This one is a very important one. Here, the structure is past form of verb to had plus past participle form of verb. See the example. He said to me, she did it. So, if this sentence is in the indirect speech, it comes, he told me that she had done it. So, the she did it in the past indefinite tense has been turned into she had done it. That is the past perfect tense. Okay. Next, past continuous tense is changed into past perfect continuous tense. That is was or were plus simple form of verb plus ing to had been plus simple form of verb plus ing. As for example, if the direct speech is, he said to me, she was doing the work. The indirect speech will be, he told me that she had been doing the work. Next, past perfect tense and past perfect continuous tense remain the same. Dear cadets, these sentences will not change their tense. They will remain constant. Okay? Say for example, he said to me, she had done it. Here, the indirect speech will be the same. That is, he told me that she had done it. Next, he said to me, she had been studying for 3 hours. The indirect speech will be, he told me that she had been studying for 3 hours. Next, shall and will, that is the modal auxiliary verbs, will be changed into would. Then can is changed into could, may is changed into might. Say for example, if you say, he said to me she will go to school. The indirect speech will be, he told me that she would go to school. Then he said to me she can do it. The indirect speech will be, he told me that she could do it. Next, he said to me she may come. The indirect speech will be, he told me that she might come. Next, a very important rule is when the reported speech states some universal truth or habitual fact, the reported speech's verb remains unchanged, even if the reporting verb is using the past form. Dear cadets, see very attentively. We have learned earlier that if the reporting verb uses the past form, then the reported speech will be changed accordingly. That is, they will go one step backward, which means they will change their tense. But if the reported speech is the universal truth or habitual fact, then there will be no change in the tense. Okay? So, say for example, he said, son, The sun rises in the east, not the west. So if this is the direct speech, the indirect speech will be, addressing me as son, he said that the sun rises in the east, not the west. Again, he said, you love music. Dear cadets, this you love music, the reported speech, is the habitual fact. So there will be no change in the tense. And for this very reason, the indirect speech will be, he said that you love music. Dear all, that's all for today's class. But before that, I'd like to give you homework. You must write down the examples taught in today's class, which will enhance your skill. And if you face any problem, you will be clarified by practicing more and more. And you also need to know the question pattern. That is, from narration, usually the question comes in the following way, which means a passage will be given in the direct form, which you need to turn it into indirect form. So let's read the passage. The girl said to the teacher, "Sir, I shall be grateful if you kindly lend me the book you praised highly in the classroom yesterday." The teacher said, "I have become really happy to know that you're eager to read this book. You are welcome to any of my books that you like." "Thank you, sir," said the girl. "You are welcome," said the teacher. Dear cadets, you must practice this question, and I think you will face a few problems. Feel free to ask your queries in the comment box, and whenever it is necessary, you must ask your questions, okay, and solve that. We'll try our level best to help you. Dear all, before ending our today's class, I'd like to remind you that you must be cautious regarding the corona pandemic, because this is a very serious disease that may take our lives. So be cautious yourselves, make your family and friends cautious too. Always remain careful that your siblings don't go outside. And if it is dry and neat, you must use your mask and gloves in order to go outside. Wash your hands frequently with hand sanitizer and be clean. Dear all, stay safe, stay fine, stay home. We hope we will see you all in a sound health. Before meeting, stay fine, and with this wish, I'd like to conclude here. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.